What's good everyone, it's Adam from Mo. Welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to show you how to create chords from scratch. You don't need much musical knowledge for this, but you do have to trust your ear in this process. I'm going to do another video showing you how to sort of follow a structure when creating chords, but this is more just trusting yourself, trusting your ears, and trusting where you want to go and take your track. Intrinsically, if you don't have any musical knowledge, you'll sort of be guided where you want the notes to go from your previous history of just listening to music. You kind of have an idea of where you want things to be, and you just got to trust yourself with this one here. So we're going to start off with, I'm just going to choose a random note right over here. We're going to go with C sharp. All right. So now the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to do a 4-chord progression. So I'm going to go draw in the next note on the next bar, and I'm just going to see what fits right. So for this one, I kind of want to go down. So let's go to, all right, that works. So I like this, the way this sounds a little bit better. And I want to keep going down because I feel like that's where this progression is taking me. So at this point, I feel like instinctually this should be resolving on the next note. So I think I'm going to bring the note up just to give it a nice complete pattern to this over here. So I'm going to go from G sharp. That sounds good. I don't like the way that sounds. I'm going to just resolve on the A right over here. So this is our progression over here. So next what we're going to do from here is going to select all of our notes, and we're going to go ahead and create chords from this one note over here. Now this step, we're just going to create all minor chords because it's just easier to pick one major or minor chord and then decide if it sounds good or it does not. In every scale, major or minor scale, there is major chords and there is minor chords, but you're going to quickly hear what sounds good and what doesn't. So what we're going to do here is to create minor chords with these notes over here. We're going to select all of our notes. We're going to hold down the Option key, click and drag, and we're going to count up 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Then we're going to take all of those second notes, highlight all those second notes, do the same thing. Option, click, drag, but this time we're going to count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in Logic, it also shows you the pitch value and how many semitones you went up from the previous note. So in this case, we went up 4, and that's what we want. So now what we've done, we've created minor chords, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sound good because this scale that we're in right now that we just put ourselves in, the box that we put ourselves in, not all these chords are going to fit inside that box. So let's take a listen. All right, so this second chord right here sounds off, and this is where your instincts should come into play. It doesn't sound right? So what you got to do here is to change this minor chord to a major chord. So what we got to do here is take this middle note over here and just push it up 1. And that turns it from a minor chord to a major chord. And now that should sound right. So that last chord sounds wrong as well. This should be a major chord as well. So instead of an A minor, we're going to go ahead and turn that into an A major. Just take the second note in the chord and move it up 1 note. All right, so now we got our chords in line and they all sound nice together. What we're going to do here is now invert the chords and do a couple things that a lot of producers do on their chords to make them sound fuller and to take up more space in the mix. So right now we're just playing notes within pretty much 1 octave, and we're going to spread this out to give this a fuller sound. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take our second note over here. This is typically what a lot of producers do. They just take the second note in the chord and they pitch it up 1 octave. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my shortcut over here, Shift Option up. And now I got the same chord except it's inverted. So now we spread out that chord over 2 octaves and it sounds a little bit fuller. The next thing that a lot of producers like to do is take their root note, so the first note in the chord, and they like to copy that down 1 octave. You're just taking the same notes and copying it down one full octave. So now your chord is spread out over 3 octaves. All right, so now your chord sounds a lot fuller, and you can go ahead and play with inversions. You don't have to pull up the second note. You can pull up the root note and see how that sounds. It's really up to you what you like personally. Everything is always up to you objectively what you like. This is just a few tips sort of to get you started along the way. So the next thing that you want to think about is your rhythm pattern to the chords. Now this is just all hitting on the 1. Right? It could get a little bit boring. So let's go ahead and just speed up the tempo a little bit. Right? So a lot of times what producers will do with their chords, they'll bring their second chord over here back 1 beat. So I'm going to bring this back over here. So it's going to go, kind of gives it like a groove to it. And we're going to do the same thing right over here. The next thing what I like to do personally is select all of my notes on my chords and just make a little bit more human feel to it. We're going to bring in our inspector tab over here, and under quantize, we'll just quantize it to 8ths, depending on how you want your notes quantized. And then go to cube flam down here. And this is going to strum the notes just to give it a little bit more of a realistic vibe so that all the notes are not hitting at the exact same time. So if you take a closer look, it pushes the notes a little bit away from each other on the initial attack. So let's just do it a little bit, nothing too crazy. We'll go about like 20, 25-ish here. And that right there is pretty much the foundation to your tracks. Then what you can do from there is, let's say you don't like the pitch of this, you can select all your notes and hold down the Option key and go up and down on your keyboard. And you can go ahead and find a different scale to be in. So if I pitch this down a bit, it may give it a different vibe, different emotion. That right there is how you build out your own chord progressions. This method is basically trusting yourself to know what sounds good and what doesn't. If you follow the steps with some practice, you'll get really used to it. And what's really good about this way is because you start to learn pitch, and you're going to start to learn the intervals or the steps between each notes, and you'll find that, hey, certain steps sound better than others. That's why some producers on YouTube, you see them working really fast and they're just putting in notes and you're like, how do they do that? Well, the truth is they're remembering these steps between the notes. But if you think about it, music is a little bit like math. So like if you put a note up here and then put a note 2 steps down, it's going to give you a type of vibe. So these are things that you start to memorize as you produce more and more. You put your reps in, and that's how you can start making quicker beats, and that's how you can start building quicker chords and melody ideas from scratch. So just practice this. It may sound confusing right now, but as you do it, it's going to make more sense. If you do have any questions on this or just want to chat, we can go and talk in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as usual, we'll catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.